Hi everyone, welcome back to Whiteboard Circuit. And today, I'm going to continue the story of Stacy, our software engineer. It's been a while since I created one of these videos with our characters. So far, we have two characters. We have Mark, whose playlist I just linked up here, and then we have Stacy, which again, playlist right up here. So for a quick recap, Stacy is a software engineer, and she was being undervalued at the company she was working at. They weren't paying her as much as she thinks she deserved. So what did Stacy do? Stacy went and did market research, found out what other companies are willing to pay her, and then throughout her journey, she realized that more than the actual salary, it's more important that she builds herself, her skills, her portfolio, and creates value for herself more. So what did she end up doing? She was being paid, I think, $80,000 at her initial company, but all the rights to all of her designs, so since she's a software engineer, she's designing kind of websites, designing graphic designs, all of the rights were going to the company. They were under the company's name. So if she was to ever quit, she would come out with nothing. Then, after doing market research, she did find a few companies that were willing to pay her more. But instead, she chose a small company that paid her the same amount, but instead gave her the rights to her designs, allowed her to put her name, kind of create her own value and build her portfolio. So Stacy picked to stay at the same salary point and build her portfolio. And then after a few years of building her proper portfolio, she goes and revisits the market again to check how much is she worth now. And because of her built portfolio, because of her increased value, companies will offer significantly more to have her on their team. So throughout the whole video, we learned that, okay, market research is important, taking risks and kind of moving around jobs, even if you don't see an advantage, is another important part. And also, trying to do the market research, making sure you are aware of what is going on in the economy, seeing where you stand among other people that are in the same industry is another important thing. So today, I'm going to talk about something that Stacy is now going to do. So, we decided that Stacy now is looking at other companies, and she realized that her job salary expectations can go up. So now some companies offering her $220,000 annually for her service. Another company, I think, was offering her about $280K, which is a lot of money. But Stacy decides, okay, since companies are willing to offer me this much money, what if I start my own business? Or what if I go contracting? That way, not only can I make more money, but again, I can build my own portfolio. So Stacy decides to not take any of the high-paying jobs she was offered and start her own business. Now, when you go to start an own business, what does she need to consider? We talked about this in Mark's playlist, but let's kind of revisit it again. When she goes to start a new business, she needs to consider customers. She needs to consider her revenue and profit, and how she's going to get the money. She needs to consider her principal amount, how she's going to invest in the company. Where is she getting the initial money from? She needs to consider her investment. She needs to consider marketing. And obviously, she needs to consider what business is she starting? What does she want to profit off of? So Stacy thinks, okay, I have job market experience in building websites. So let's say she's in website design. So she's like, okay, I have experience building website designs. I have industry experience, so she's worked at different companies. She has her own portfolio. And she has everything she's done, and she has her degree in software engineering. SE stands for software engineering. So she knows that her as a person, the past 25, 28, however old she is, she spent her entire life building this skill, which is website design. Everything she's done proves and gives her the knowledge she needs to be a good website designer. So when she goes to start her business, she realizes, okay, the skill that I want to profit off of is my website design skill. Okay, D-E-S-I-G-N. So she wants to profit off of her website design skill. Now, how does she go about doing this? How does she want to sell it? You can't really have a retail store for website design. We can walk into a store, see, like for example, let's say t-shirts. We walk into a retail outlet, a retail store, we see the t-shirts, we can feel what material they're made out of, we can see the actual product, and we go and buy it. Having that retail outlet, having an actual physical store, is one way to start a business. But this can really only do well for physical, tangible objects, toys, clothes, makeup products, skincare products, anything that is physical, tangible, and you need to buy as a product. That's what this is good for. But since website design isn't really a physical product, she's just designing websites for other companies. So Stacy's point is to build a company that helps other companies, right? So she has two options. She could become a contractor, which is essentially she gets hired by a company on a contract. They tell her, okay, you are hired for this specific project, and the project would obviously be relating to some website design. You are hired for the project, and once the project is over, you are no longer an employee. This means this is still considered a business since she technically is working for herself. She is being hired by a company to do the website design, and once the website design is completed and her term is completed and her contract is terminated, or the contract comes to an end, then she no longer works for the company. She's not an employee of the company itself. So that's one way. She could be a contractor. Or she could start an actual business, whether it's a digital business, or she can start cold calling companies and seeing if they are interested in having a website design for them. So she looks into some of the things and she finds out that being a contractor is a big hassle. She'd rather just start her own business. So what did she do? So now Stacy's first step is to find her customers. She needs to find clients, obviously, to sell her skill to. So she walks around the community and she notices that there's a bunch of small businesses, nail salons, spas, boutiques, that don't really have a website. They just rely on mouth-to-mouth or word-of-mouth advertising and marketing. So she calls them or walks into their store and talks to their manager and she says, I notice you guys don't have a website. I think a website would benefit your company in this way, increase your customer base, and I believe I am the best person to design your website because I have these skills, and hence I think you should hire me for this cheap price because I am offering less price than my competitors, and hence you will be more profitable once I do that. Now maybe that was a little bit fast, but let me explain. So when she goes and advertises herself, here are the points she includes. She says, I noticed you were lacking a website. You were lacking a website. What does this do? This lets them know that they, as a business, are lacking in something that their competitors have. Let's say a nail salon store. Nail salon, they want to sell their nails, but their competitors have websites and they don't. Hence, they're lacking in some place. So she kind of created that need. She explained that, okay, you guys have this need for a website. You guys are behind compared to your competitors. So she created a need. Let's label created a need. Once she created a need, she stated that I have a website design business. So she stated that she could fix that need or fill that need. Could fix it. Then she stated that I am the best and cheapest. Now, of course, this is, again, a very high-level analogy. There would be other ways to market. But she says, I'm the best and the cheapest in the market. So she gave the business a reason to hire her. Because she's the best and the cheapest. So essentially, they can get the best quality for the cheapest or the least price. So let's quickly recap. So she created a need. She said that she could fix it. But not only can she fix it, she's the best person to fix it because she'll do it at the best quality for the least price. And then she states that having a website will make you more profitable. And increase customers. And then she tells them, so after doing all this, then she tells them why they should do it. So I don't want to make this video too long, but this is kind of the first video I want to introduce into marketing and how to market yourself, how to market a business, how to create a marketing strategy. So what she did was she created a need. She kind of explained, oh, your competitors have this. She made maybe a little bit of FOMO for that specific business. She said, you were lacking a website, your competitors have a website, and you need a website. She created a need. Then she said that she could fix it. So she kind of brought herself into the equation. You guys don't have a website, but I can help you. Another thing she could add in between is why not having a website is bad. She could kind of say, you guys don't have a website, which is the reason you guys are lacking customers or the reason your guys' store is empty right now. She could kind of create that need by showing, okay, you don't have a website and here's what's happening because you don't. Then again, I could fix that problem. I'm the cheapest, I'm the best. Therefore, you should hire me. I am the best person to hire. And then she'll give a reason as to why. She'll show her portfolio. She'll talk about how her prices are less than all of the competitors in the market. So she gives a reason for them to hire her instead of any other website design. Because here's the thing, just creating the need, that means they could go hire anyone. They realize, oh, we need a website. That's all they care about. We need a website. So we are going to go hire someone that makes websites. But no, she gave them a reason to hire her. And then she explained why getting a website will give them an advantage. So this is a very, very high level, basic explanation on how to market something, how to market a business, market a product, any marketing strategy. And I look forward to making more videos on marketing in greater depth and greater detail. And I'm going to continue this playlist for sure, because marketing is a skill we see everywhere. Posters, flyers, in school events, everything is marketed. And it's important that we learn these skills and understand these skills so that not only we can market ourselves as individuals, but in the future, if we want to create businesses or be part of a marketing team, we have these basic level skills. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Press that thumbs up button and that subscribe button. And if there's anything else you want to know about business, finance, marketing, put it down in the comments and I'll be sure to create a video on it. Thank you for listening. Bye.